Hello, Lose Weight with Macros family. Welcome to a brand new episode of Lose Weight with Macros, the Basics podcast with me, your host, Verona, the behavior change nutrition coach, equipping and empowering women who are stuck in that dreaded cycle of yo-yo dieting. We stop. I have been there, friends. Let's take a deep breath. But my friends, as your coach, I don't want you to stay stuck in this cycle. So I am here, macros focused, helping you overcome that procrastination, the way we know what we need to do, but we just don't know how to do it. This is where we are getting into those type of things. So today, my friends, as we are in a new month, a brand new year, happy new year to you. If you're getting ready to go back to the gym for the first time or after a very long time, this is how to get the most out of your first week at the gym. If you're ready, friends, if you're ready like Freddie, let's get straight into today's episode because we have got many things to talk about. So friends, when it comes to getting in the gym, how have you found it? Have you started yet? Or are you afraid of getting hurt? Are you afraid to actually take the step? You've now signed up, you've opened up your membership to Planet Fitness, but there's still a little bit of a disconnect, but you're afraid that you're going to get hurt. Or that you know what, you've just wasted your money again and you're never really going to find the time. You don't know what to do in the gym. So these are answers that people have given when it comes to what are the things that you're afraid of the most when it comes to the gym. One of the top ones is you don't know what to do in the gym. Neither did I. Neither did anybody in the gym. You'll feel like a donut. Okay. People will judge you when you look weak, fat, or old. People are going to take your spot on the machines in classes. Listen, whether you're a beginner or a newbie, that happens all the time. And then people are like, how many more sets you got left, bro? People come up to me and ask me, are you using the both of them? Nope. I'm just using one. How many more you got left? Okay, I'll be here 5 minutes. The equipment isn't set up for your size, gender, or preferences. That is a really big one. That's a really big one. One of these ones, before we get into the rest of them, one of that one actually, you could probably make suggestions to the gym staff and to see if it's something within their budget. Some gyms have it, some gyms don't, but that is a really good suggestion. You'll fall behind on your goals if you don't work out with the trainer now. Your friends will think you're weird for joining the gym without them. Girl, get your shoes on, get your trainers on, go and buy yourself some leggings. Gymshark has got a 60% sale now. Go and buy yourself some leggings and come with me. You'll get bored and quit before seeing results. Now this one can happen to the best of us, even if we're well gymmed, even if we're PTs or ex-PTs like myself, and this happens. It happens, but it doesn't mean that you need to give up and quit. So today, this is what I'm talking about, how to make the most out of your gym and how to get the most out of your week. So getting the most out of your week at the gym can be tricky because you want to make sure you're doing everything quote unquote right, but you also don't want to overwhelm yourself with too much information. So today I'm giving you 5 practical tips that will both help you in this situation. So firstly, before these number 5, so I know my maths is not really good right now, but it might be a little bit more than 5. Once you've signed up, one of the things that I would encourage you to get is clothes that fit, clothes that you're comfortable in, and the appropriate footwear and the appropriate shoes. If you're somebody who wants to start strength training for the first time, you don't need to go and buy yourself weightlifter shoes. They are fantastic, absolutely. They're a little bit pricey, but when you're just starting out, you don't need that yet. If you're not going to start avidly powerlifting and etc. If that's your goal, you want to get to a powerlifter, absolutely go and buy your first pair. However, if you are going to start a strength training routine, you can actually do Converse, you can actually do Vans, you can actually do something that has a flat sole. You don't want something that's a running shoe because there's an arch in there and you've kind of got that squishy bubble in the shoe, and so your foot is not actually in contact with the floor as much. And if you notice, if you're somebody who's quite advanced as well, if you're noticed when you're doing a squat, your ankle starts to raise up, that's because your foot is not fully planted on the ground. So making sure you've got the right clothes, go and buy them in the sale if you're finding them too expensive, because even myself, I had to ask Comfort in the group, I had to be like, is this the normal price for thingies? I'm paying over £200 here for shopping on just leggings, because the top part for me, I don't know where they're going, they're pretty and all, but they don't fit me. But I'm like, wait, is it really £70 for a pair of legging bottoms? And these are not MLM legging bottoms I'm talking about. I'm not interested in those. But I'm like, whoa, $70? I'm not even American, but it's like, whoa. But lo and behold, that's it. And the thing is, you're paying for quality. I know that, but it's because I'm so used to buying in the sales. Even if they were £70 and they go down to 35, I like the quality because I've had some gym leggings now for about 2 years and they're still good. I'm like, yeah, now I know what I know about quality. I know about money, and it's not to say I can't afford it. It's not about affordability. It is this the normal price for leggings? And if you're paying for quality leggings, then absolutely yes, it is. So that's my kind of off the cuff tip tip for you if you're just getting started, making sure you've got the right kind of clothes, you're comfortable with it. Be aware if you are wearing some overcovers and you are wearing stuff underneath and you don't feel comfortable in the beginning showing your arms, you don't need to. Don't worry about that, because you are going to get hot. Your body temperature will increase because you're exerting yourself. If you are that uncomfortable and you're wearing a hoodie, I wouldn't advise that. Going to the gym, absolutely, and when you get comfortable, take it off or wrap it around you, or take it off before you come out onto the gym floor in the ladies' room. And then wear a t-shirt so that's something that you can be comfortable in. And then when you start to lose the weight, if that's your particular goal, girl, if you want to wear those gym vests and all those things, absolutely. You don't need to, but you just wear something that you are comfortable with and you're happy with. So number one, the first thing is get your muscles ready. Start with a full body warm up, a full body stretch. Sometimes we can like to just go straight in and we're like, no, I just want to lose weight. I just want to go on the machines. Relax. You're going to get to go in the machines. It's okay. If you go at a time where it's easy, I like to go. The time that I like to actually go to the gym is when the people have left. So you've got your sets, your clusters, right? You've got the people who can't sleep and they'll go around midnight. Then you've got the people who are, you know, kind of shift workers, and they are there from 4 o'clock in the morning. And that gym, those people have got the gym to themselves. There's around 6 people at that time. And like, oh my gosh, if I could wake up, I would go at that time. And I have sometimes. Then you've got the people who are now waking up before, a couple of hours before they've got to go to bed. And that's between 5 and 7 a.m. And then it starts to be a little bit more busy. That's what you tend to call the peak times of the gym. Then now those same people who have got to get ready for work, they've left the gym, or they've gone to get ready for work, and now they're getting breakfast, etc. Like, they tell me all of this, but they've gone to do that. And so now between 7:30 and 8:30 towards 9 o'clock, the gym is empty. For me, that's the perfect time. I've got the Smith machine, which is a squat machine that you have assisted. It assists you when you're using that weighted machine. It's still a weighted machine, but it assists you through like a pulley system, if you picture it. And it's got safety bars, but the pulley system only activates once you unlock the safety bars, and you can do loads of different things with it. So I can use that. But believe me, I'm talking after I got qualified as a personal trainer, I used to be so afraid to go upstairs because I just like, you know what, that's where the men are. I don't like the men's section. I avoid the weights, until I was like, what are your goals? Your goals are to build muscle, to build strength. Go upstairs and stop being a baby. So I went upstairs, had my headphones in, and people upstairs were nice. Men actually don't come up to me, but the females come up to me and be like, oh, you okay? And if you start to go at the same time, you'll start to see familiar faces, and that's how you start to build the gym community. So it's all about the gym community. Don't get me wrong. There are people who are just there for themselves and not about community at all. We're not talking about those. God bless you and keep it moving. We're talking about the ones that want to, what's your goals? How are you? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And you just find your peoples. And most of the time, people talk to you after they've finished their set. If you're trying to speak to somebody in the middle of the set, it's not going to happen. No. Specifically, don't ask people to film you when you're in the middle of the set. It's going to just be like a hell no. So there are a community of people that you can start to get on with. But when you're doing all of that, that starts to encourage you and help you to go more. So if I got scared to use a Smith machine, I can't imagine what it's like for you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. But it's just starting slow and steady. I'm always talking about that on Focus on the Fat Loss, always talking about that in one-to-one coaching. It's all about being slow and steady. But when you're starting with the full warm-up, you are allowing your muscles to get ready for the exercises that you're about to do. And that also helps protect you against injury. Now, you do need to make sure that you're doing the right form, but along the ways, this is what helps to prevent injury. So you're getting the muscles ready to be able to do that. Now, there's a difference between the types of stretches you can do. You can do a 5-minute walk on the treadmill. You could then go to do some dynamic or static stretches. It depends. It depends on what you're going to do. For example, if I was creating a nutrition plan for you, or a workout plan for you, and your goal was to build glutes, then the stretches, I would make sure that you've got some stretches at the beginning and at the end. I would then say, for example, put a resistance band workouts in there for you to activate and to increase and encourage glute activation. So it's a lot easier for you to activate those glutes through dynamic stretching rather than static stretching, because you are actually starting to do some of the moves that you are about to work out. So that is firing up the muscles, getting them ready to be able to work out. And believe me, you feel the difference when your glutes are activated too when they're not. So when you're warmed up all over, this warm up doesn't have to take an hour. It can take a good 15 minutes, and that you can use machines to do that. Sometimes you could use bands, you can use assisted, you can use whatever works for you and whatever your goal is. That's what the full body warm up would entail. Number 2, move in a way that feels good for your body and don't worry about what other people are doing. Now, this is easier said than done. I know it is easier said than done. But it's about, you're kind of being a little bit selfish when you're coming to the gym. It's all about me. Not when it comes to the machines, but where your mentality and your mindset is. So when you're thinking about, why am I here? Some people love to make friends in the gym, but you're here to get a goal in place. You've set your goal and you're here to achieve that goal. So you're starting to do those things in a way that feels good for you. Instead of focusing on outdated exercises or doing things that are putting your body through unnecessary stress, in my opinion, that's high intensity interval training, because it may work for you now, but when we get older, it can wreak havoc on our bodies. There's so much new research these days that talk about it. So it's now about what works for you. For example, I don't like burpees, but is there a way that you could do that standing but still get the overall full body workout? Absolutely there is. You could do that with dumbbells and start to work that as a full body exercise. However, I'm not a fan of burpees, and neither are my knees. So some of us start to think that we have to do certain types of exercises in order for us to have a good workout, but it doesn't work that way. So when you're focusing on what feels good for you, if you like a 25-minute walk on the treadmill when you're stationary and you've got a great view outside and that's for you, fantastic. You can do that to start getting into your exercise routine, especially if you're just getting started. You can catch up on some of your shows, and this is your time. This is you. Just zone out and just do this. Then when you start to build up strength and endurance, then you can start to progress and stretch out the boat. But it's also important, number 2, to keep it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many new things at once, which is something that can be done. I've done it when I first started at the gym, way before I became a personal trainer, loads of things. But if you're in that mindset where you're like, right, I've got to keep this simple, you can always add more exercises later. But if you end up trying to do too much too soon, what will happen is you end up going to be overwhelmed, discouraged, and you're going to give up. You probably won't cancel your membership, but you will just stop coming. Want to know the worst thing about yo-yo dieting? Is you don't really learn why it happens. You just start a diet, then you lose some weight and you celebrate and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel better. I can feel my clothes fitting better already. I've got more energy. I've never had this amount of sleep before. And then you celebrate with food. And then what ends up happening is you go back to your old habits. Then you regain the weight that you'd already lost and it adds some tax. Friends, if you've been in this position, there's no shade. I've been in this position. My clients have been in this position. And I want to help you come away from this cycle of yo-yo dieting. In a recent survey, 95% of dieters said they were frustrated and or discouraged by their yo-yo dieting habits. Now, if you know what to do but don't know how to do it, you're in good company. Breaking the yo-yo cycle is very possible. There are many reasons why diets fail, but the solution is simple. Reserve your spot for the Ditch Yo-Yo Diet Workshop today and start losing weight for real. Head over to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/diets to reserve your spot. But for now, friends, let's continue with today's episode. Instead of doing that, you can focus on one thing or even 2 at a time. Maybe, as I've just mentioned, walking on the treadmill and then doing some upper body exercises like bicep curls or tricep extensions. Now, note here, I don't mean you're doing that simultaneously on the treadmill. That's not going to happen. We're not going to do it like that. But when you do that, if you're focusing on 1 or 2 things, what happens is when people start to ask you how your first week was, you can then start to tell them how you started to stick to your plan. You started off with a full body stretch, and that in itself was amazing because you're sitting and you're working at your desk at home. And so just being able to stretch and just do the warm up you felt like you were actually achieving something. So it's important to keep it simple. Bring a water, bring towel, bring some hand gel. Once you've come into the gym, my gym, we actually have the sanitizing stations, so being able to wipe down your equipment before you get on it and then after you get off it. So bringing a water and towel is super important, and you need water for your workout so your body can recover effectively from every piece of training that you're doing. Having a towel helps because of the sweat, and nobody wants to be in somebody else's sweat. It's just that's just not nice. So you just being able to make sure you clean up after yourself along the way. So we've talked about making sure that you wear comfortable clothes, making sure that you're confident in the clothes that you are. Even if you're not confident, it's just you're confident in the clothing that you have. You're not worried about showing too much skin, and you're not comparing yourself to anybody else, and you're also starting slowly. It's really important to start slowly and keep it simple for now. When you're starting slowly, if we start to take on too much, we get overwhelmed and we give up. If that's something that you're regularly used to, then your body is going to naturally want to default back to that. And that's what happens when we do diets. That's what happens when we do that yo-yo dieting cycle. Our body actually metabolically will start to fight us when we are trying to restrict ourselves or be in a calorie deficit. It will stall our bodies, and it's like, no, it goes into that fight or flight mode, and it actually feels like you are starving yourself. Now, I'm not talking about starvation mode if that's what you've heard of, but it will start to feel like, wait, what's happening here? Then it will set up it's almost like an alarm goes off. If you've seen those films where somebody tries to rob the bank or rob the jewels, soon as they try to put their They can't see it. In the human eye, you can't see those electronic beams. But as soon as you put your hand through that, like bars come down and all of that kind of stuff. That's like what happens in our bodies. Our bodies actually start to react like, wait, what's happening? What's happening? And it starts to put up things. And then we end up entering into the plateau. So that's when we don't lose weight and we think we're doing something wrong, and then we reduce more calories, and then the cycle happens over again. It's a cycle that happens. So instead of doing that, let's get into a habit where, right, if I know this information from the get-go, then I can easily put this into my goals, plan it out, and then execute it and keep doing that for a longer term period rather than just short and steady. Now, if you're enjoying the show, I'm glad that you are. This is just equipping you for the first week, the first 2 weeks, first month. And so after the first 4 weeks now, then you should have some momentum and helping you build sustainable habits that are healthy, long-term, sustainable with macros fundamentally. And for those of you who don't like macros, then we won't use macronutrients when it comes to tracking. Also, one of my favorite tips is when we are sweating and we're losing minerals, we're losing electrolytes, we're losing vitamins, we're losing minerals, it's important to make sure that we're replenishing them. And so one of my things that I recommend, if you can handle it, is looking into electrolytes. Electrolytes is something that I have, which is in the form of coconut water, that I will have during that. Water is great, but you want to also replenish the minerals and the vitamins that we have in our body and that we lose through the excess sweat. So those are the first things that you can begin to do in the first week. I'm not going to give you any more, not because I want to keep it all, but I'm going to leave it there for that episode just so you can start from somewhere. And then next week, I'm going to give you another episode as to how you can get on this thing. So consider this your 4-week plan to getting back in the gym and finding success. If your goal is to lose weight sustainably in 2023, then that's exactly what I'm going to help you do, friends, through resources, through coaching, and through the podcast. If you stick with me consistently, listen to at least, here's a goal for you, listen to at least one episode of the podcast a week and put into action the things that Verona has said, and then monitor that. By the end of December, imagine where you will be. And that, my friends, is all we've got time for in today's episode. I can't wait to catch you in the next one. Hey friend, you made it to the end of the episode. What was your biggest takeaway from today's episode? Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review over on iTunes. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's episode, or you need help, then you can contact me over on Instagram at VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast, or email me support@vanutritioncoaching.co.uk, or you can head over to the Facebook page VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast. It helps us reach even more women who are fed up with dieting, don't know how to lose weight, they're frustrated with following Sally's results and they're not getting any of their own, and they just finally want to shed some pounds and do it in a way that they can sustain and they can enjoy. But my friends, that's a wrap for today's episode. I can't wait to catch you on the next one. Until then, friends, stay healthy, stay blessed, and remember, if you haven't already downloaded your 5-ingredient recipe pack, you can go to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/recipes and download your 5-ingredient recipe pack. Who said healthy eating was boring? See you next time, friend.